All right, I'm going to try this again here. I think I figured out how to do this. Go into... And there we go. All right, we are on the air, guys. What is going on? Okay, very nice. We are live. Hang on one second, guys. I'm still trying to get used to this. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to go here. I simply just want to pop out my chat box. That way I can try to pop out chat. I'm going to put that over onto this screen. And then I can shut this down. There we go. Okay, so chat is up there. All right, we are in business, guys. What is going on? My name is K-Dogs Kennel, and this is my WWE Wrestlepalooza 2025 PLE predictions video. Wrestlepalooza will take place tomorrow night. I didn't even really... I knew it was coming. I thought it was actually next weekend, but somebody told me it was actually tomorrow. So figured we would get these up today before I head off to work. So we're going to go ahead and transition into only 5 matches. As of this recording, there's only 5 matches on the card. Not really sure how that's going to, what kind of card it's going to be. This is also the debut PLE on the ESPN streaming service. You pay $30 a month, and the first event you're getting has 5 matches on the card. Wow, that's amazing. Not really. But anyway, the first one we're going to talk about is for the vacant WWE Women's World Championship, vacated by Naomi last month after revealing her pregnancy. Stephanie Vaquer was already guaranteed a shot. It was supposed to be Naomi versus Vaquer here at Wrestlepalooza. It was supposed to be Clash in Paris. But that never came to fruition. And so now they have made Io Sky versus Stephanie Vaquer for the Women's World Championship. And I think I like Stephanie Vaquer in this one. I love Io. I really do. Io's had a run with it. Stephanie is the up-and-comer from NXT. I think, you really want to push her in this role. And I do think that it will... I'm just trying to do... Okay. Making sure I got my chat box out. I just got to make sure that I can be seen and heard. Okay, yeah, we're good. Okay, sorry. I'm just very particular about when I'm streaming on my PC. But as far as this one goes, like I said, I could care less really who wins. I'm going to lean towards Stephanie Vaquer because, like I said, she's the up-and-comer and all that. And then I'm going to come back here so I can switch my graphic up a little bit. And then I have to find the other matches because these are kind of out of whack. One second here as I bring up the next. Okay, there we go. Perfect. So, but we're going to go with Vaquer in that one. And then we are going to, if I can bring it up. See, I'm getting the hang of this thing. We move on to the next matchup that I've got listed here. Well, not listed, but anyway, we have the Usos, the reunited Usos, Jimmy and Jay, taking on the Vision's Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. Now, I don't really want the Usos to lose, their reuniting tag team matchup, but I do feel that not giving the victory here to the Vision is criminalistic, especially, you want to get these two over, the Bronson boys, if you will. Even though it's, there's Braun and Bronson, but still, the Brons. But in any event, I like the Vision in this one. Like I said, I think if you really want to establish Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed as a tag team, you want to do this by giving them credibility by beating the Usos. And I think They ripped Roman off of the card, so he could film Street Fighter or whatever. Hence why I think Cody Rhodes might have been written off as well. Why it took him forever today to come back. We'll talk about him in a minute. But like I said, I do feel when it comes to credibility, I think the Vision needs this win. Just because I think the leader is in for a long night. Because I don't, we'll get to that in a minute. But I think I like Bronson Reed in this match. So we're gonna go with that. We're gonna transition back to here. Get my next slide up. And like I said, it's just it's. Oop. Get the right one up. There we go. All right. Next up, a little. Whoop. There, we'll just do it that way. Actually, instead of just transitioning, I'm just going to keep doing the whole. Just clicking on them or whatever. But anyway, we have the WWE Championship on the line. I don't think this will be the main event. But we have Cody Rhodes defending against Drew McIntyre. I certainly don't see Drew McIntyre winning the title here. I think Cody's going to hang on to this thing probably until WrestleMania 43. Or 42, excuse me. It's just this feud has been kind of bad from the start. I mean, it's not really had a lot of momentum. It hasn't had a lot of steam. I'm just not. I'd like Drew to win the title just because I think Cody's second run with the belt has been stale at best. I just don't see Cody dropping the belt here. I just don't. And then you kind of have to ask yourself after this, where does Cody go? It would make no sense for him to feud with, Seth Rollins. Seth is already the world champion. He's embroiled in a feud with CM Punk. Does either Breakker or Reed, go after Cody and try to, add more gold to the Vision stable? Not really sure where they're going to go with this. Like I said, I'm personally not invested in this feud, this McIntyre Rhodes feud. I feel that the build has been lackluster. I feel that, like I said, it's nothing against either man. It's just they haven't, for the ESPN, you think they would throw everything in their arsenal. You're wanting to, Peacock, you'd spend, $15 for, to have, ad free. And now, they're jumping to ESPN where, ESPN wants you to pay $30 a month, to watch all these events. And frankly, not something I'm going to do. So, but Rhodes, McIntyre, like I said, I like Cody, to retain. Again, I just don't see enough build in this feud for McIntyre to come out with the W. But like I said, that's my prediction on that. Take it for what you will. Next up that we have, we got John Cena. We got Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar shocked everybody by returning on night 2 of SummerSlam back in August. Much like he's done before, immediately targeted John Cena. Now, rumor has it, Cena requested this. He requested to work with Brock Lesnar on his retirement tour. These two have feuded for a long, long period of time. And it makes no sense for Brock to go over in this because, again, Cena's the one that's leaving. Cena's the one retiring. I think everybody can attest to the fact that, John Cena's heel turn was completely ruined. I love the fact they did it, but when The Rock went AWOL, the whole heel turn itself fell apart. He turned babyface essentially on SmackDown right before SummerSlam. And I think that's how John Cena needs to be remembered, as a babyface, not as a heel. And obviously, he won his 17th world title as a heel, which, that's going to go in the annals in the history books because that was, reign 17. Personally, I'd like to see John maybe win the Intercontinental title before he retires. That's the only title he's missing to become a Grand Slam champion. Again, but, with this match, you're looking, again, you look at it, it makes no sense for Brock to win because, like I said, what's Brock going to do after this? I don't know. Where's Cena going to go after this? I don't know. It's one of those things, but it doesn't make sense for Brock to go over. And Brock's had Cena's number over the years. So even though Cena's won matches or whatnot, it's Brock putting the hurt down on him. But again, I just like I said, there's no point in John winning this, or excuse me, in Brock winning this match. And I think that Cena's going to go over. Match should be good, but I'm just not completely. It's not that I'm sold on. I think it's a marquee matchup, but I just don't think that. I don't know. Like I said, maybe for me, it's one-sided on my end, but in any event, guys, we head to. I don't know if this is going to be the main event, or it's probably going to be Cena and Brock as the main event, but. The match I'm most looking forward to, and as are a lot of people on the card, the big mixed tag team match between World Heavyweight Champion Seth Rollins, his wife Becky Lynch, taking on CM Punk and his wife AJ Lee. AJ made her return a couple of weeks ago, and Chicago erupted when Light It Up played. AJ comes, skipping out, soaks in the adulation. Beats the shit out of Becky Lynch. Basically kept possession of the Women's Intercontinental Championship. I personally think this match is basically made for Punk and AJ to go over. I think it makes more sense to have AJ pin Becky to solidify herself as number one contender to the Women's Intercontinental Championship. Then maybe you do Becky and AJ one-on-one at Crown Jewel for the Women's Intercontinental Championship with Becky dropping the belt. And then I don't foresee Rollins dropping the Royal. Rollins is going to drop the belt to Punk at some point, possibly at the Royal Rumble. Maybe, we get Punk and Rollins at WrestleMania 42. Punk having not only his WrestleMania main event, but his WrestleMania moment in that. But I think all signs with this point to Punk and AJ winning. I love it. I love the build. I think this is it's the best match to have on this card. This is the match you want to see if you're ESPN. I figured they weren't gonna do this at Clash in Paris. They're not gonna do it at Crown Jewel. You put it here on WrestlePalooza. Like I said, it's the right match to have. I think it's going to be the best match on the card. I think you're going to see AJ mix it up with both Rollins and Lynch. Punk's not going to put his hands on Becky or anything, but I do like CM Punk and AJ Lee to win this, with AJ potentially winning the Women's Intercontinental Championship coming up at Crown Jewel, which I do believe is next month in October. And then the big news obviously came out, which I debated doing a kennel bit for, was Riyadh will be hosting WrestleMania 43. That's just, that's a video in itself. But like I said, super quick. Like I said, you got to get out of here for work here in about 15 minutes or so. But that's my WrestlePalooza predictions video, guys. Like I said, not a whole lot to discuss, not a whole lot to talk about with the card anyway. But yeah, let me know your thoughts on WrestlePalooza and all that good stuff and all that. Stream-wise, I will probably be up sometime tomorrow afternoon, late morning, early afternoon. Not sure what we're gonna do. We might start some Mafia 1. Now that we finished the Old Country. But that being said, guys, that is going to wrap up this video. So thank you so much for watching. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel if you've not done so already. And be sure to give this video a thumbs up if you would. Does help the channel grow. And with that being said, guys, we'll catch you sometime tomorrow for the next live stream. Don't dare miss it.